guys, and welcome back to Crafty Quilting Designs. I hope you're well and having a fantastic day. So I've got this beautiful quilt for you, and it's a layer cake. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of how to make this, let me say hello and welcome to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining the Crafty Quilting family. You are so very welcome. I do hope that you find something that will enable you to learn a lot from me, because I love teaching. I am a natural teacher. I am a teacher by trade. So hopefully there's something that will glue you to my channel and you will always give me a thumbs up, okay? And for those of you who are always with me, thank you so much for coming back and viewing this tutorial. Okay, so let's move on very quickly. It is a layer cake. It's lovely and easy, very beginner friendly. There is a pattern for you to download. It is not free, however, it is not expensive also. All right, but it's a very easy to piece quilt. It's absolutely gorgeous. And let me give you a quick sneak peek now so you can see what it looks like. So really, really easy. So it's a slice of cake, and there's not much I can say other than let's get started and let me show you how to make this beautiful quilt. All right. Have a good one. All right, guys, so today we're going to make a beautiful quilt. It's very simple. It's called layer cake stack, as I've already told you in the intro. Now all you need to do is take your layer cakes and simply just cut them, stack them up together and cut them in half. The layout is quite simple. I'm taking two of the cakes that I've cut in half and simply lay them out like that. That is simply the layout. Okay, now if you were to cut from yardage, you need to ensure that you use high contrast. Now what I mean by that is from each of the fabrics that you've selected, you need to ensure that you can see some of the colors within the other fabric. So for example, I have purple in this one, and I can see a little bit of purple here and there. There is yellow in this one, and I can pick up yellow as well in there, pinks, blues, light greens, etc. And that's what I mean by that, so that you can see that there's a contrast there, and the fabric collection will work together if you decide to cut it for yourself. So that is simply the layout. So it's going to be upright and then sideways. Okay, the only issue you would have then is to not put similar fabrics next to each other. So that is the idea basically of the quilt. So let's go lay it out together, and I'll show you some variations of what I think can actually work, all right, with a more dominant color for your layer cake. So let's get started on that. All right, so this is the first layout here. As you can see, I laid it out as I explained before. So you have like that, so two down and across, there's horizontal and vertical, etc. All the way through. I've laid it out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. So 7, 6, 7, 5, 35 blocks here all together. Okay, obviously I didn't use a whole layer cake for this one as yet anyway, because the quilt is not completed. Right, so what I'm going to do is try and move this around a little bit to see what else I can get from this layout. I don't expect to get much, but I'm going to play around and see what happens. As it is, I like the layout. I did not necessarily place it in any particular way. I just laid the blocks out. They're not stitched together at the moment. I'm not going to sew them together until obviously I know which layout I prefer. But let's have a move around and see what happens. Alright, so this is another layout. So what I've done is try to get like a little twisty action here, there, and to the top there. Hopefully you can visualize it there and see what I'm playing with. It looks alright. I kind of prefer the other one. I'll try another layout and see what do you guys think, what I get. But let me know what you think, guys. I'm not too in love with this one. I prefer the first one so far. I use a darker fabrics to get that crisscross reaction there, but it's okay. I'm not so much in love with it. Love the fabrics, but not so much in love with this particular layout. Let's try one more time and see what happens. Alright guys, so this is the third one. What do you think about this one? I kind of like this one. So what I have done here is put both dark fabrics together and the lights together. So you have the two darks there, two lights, two lights. Where I had only one dark left, I just left it horizontal. So I have one individual one there, and I have another one up here. So yeah, one there and one there, but because they're same colors, I can't put them together obviously. So I obviously have more of the green darks than the blue. Nevertheless, it looks fine. I do like this layout actually, but I'm still in favor of the first one, to be honest, but this one looks nice. I am not going to add any borders. I'm just going to sew it together and bind the quilt as it is. It's not going to be a quilt as you go. I'm literally going to do this as is. So I'm loving the layer cake look. Just stack the layer cakes, lay them out, sew together, quilt, done, bind, over and done with. Quick, simple, beginner friendly, and you can cut from yardage. You don't have to use a layer cake, but yeah, it looks pretty fantastic to me. I love it. So I'm going to sew this together. I'm not sure which layout I'm going to choose. Which one do you like the best? Let me know down below. And if you can actually get more layouts. Do you think you can get more layouts from this? What do you think, guys? But so far, I'm loving it actually. My favorite prints are the yellow. Love that. It's really lovely and vibrant. Love this sort of metallic blue as well there, really beautiful, but overall the colors really contrast. Okay, so let's sew it together, get it quilted, and see what it looks like. Alright, so before we actually put anything together, we need to actually chain piece. Now I chain piece this so it comes together very, very quickly, and we need to square the block up. Alright, so I'm just going to separate, and you've seen me square up before, and I'm going to be using my squaring up ruler, which gets the job done a lot more quickly. Okay, so what I will do normally is to iron the block before I start to cut. So as usual, you would simply just set your seams, and if you're working with lights and darks, in this case both fabrics is dark, so you don't necessarily need to worry about laying the seam on one side, but I like to lay it really nice and flat here, because sometimes with fabric, when you've got a seam line there, it tends to kind of roll back together. So I tend to do that. Just press it in the middle, and notice I'm not really ironing the block. All I'm literally doing is just setting those seams. Alright, so open that up, and again just open the middle there, and that's really what I'm doing. I will literally give it a proper press once the quilt top has been made. I like to do that because I don't necessarily, I'm always sort of concerned about the heat of the iron, so I tend to use a very warm iron when I'm actually setting my seams, because I'm so concerned about the blocks being stretched. Which can happen if the iron is literally too hot. I know some people say it doesn't happen with cotton, but it can. It definitely can. So I just prefer to do it that way, to be honest. That's just my method of working, and it hasn't failed me as of yet. So just one more to do. Wrong side. Okie dokie, open that up. Now what I would say, because I just noticed something a minute ago when I was ironing here, what I did notice is that I sewed two similar blocks together like so. Now that is not an issue for me. Now if you've done something like that, you can simply unpick it, but I'm going to leave it because it's, you know, a sort of a random layout, and obviously with a layer cake this can happen. I wouldn't stress about it. All right, so I'm going to start trimming now. Square nut ruler in hand, and all I'm going to do is turn my block. It's already lovely and flat because I've already ironed the middle there. Find where I need to cut and simply trim off. Now it depends on how you stitch your block together. I think one of the important, as much as the block is quite simple, you must ensure that you have an accurate 1/4 inch seam. All right, that's very important because the block can come out the wrong size. All right, so the seams of joining this layer cake together must be accurate. Okay, now I can see a little bit of a fold there, and I don't like trimming the fabric if it's slightly folded there. So I'm just going to open that up there. That's why I like to have the seam literally open, so that when I put my ruler on, I can then see that fabric relax and go out, okay, to sort of stretch out. And I don't mean the word stretching as in stretching, but if it's like that, you still have a little bit of a hum there, but when the ruler goes on it, it flattens it down, okay? But if you have that fold there and you cut it like that, what will happen is once you've opened it out, you'll realize that, you know, the level on top there is a bit uneven. Okay, so I'm just making sure it's on the size that I want it to be before I trim. Measure that diagonal line from point to point there in the middle. Yeah, cut, simple. Now some sides you may need to cut twice, some you may need to cut once. Again, depending on your 1/4 inch seam. Now, so once we've done this, it's time to lay out and simply put the blocks together and stitch and sew the whole thing together. Now, at this stage, you could start thinking about whether or not you want to add a border or whether or not you want to literally leave it as is without the border. Ideally, it's entirely down to you. At this point in time, I haven't really decided as yet whether I want to add a border or not, to be honest. Looking at the quilt and the layout, it looks really lovely without the border. Yes, adding a border will increase the size of the quilt, but I'm not really concerned about making the quilt bigger, to be honest. If I want to have a big quilt, then I will design the quilt to be a large quilt in the first place. But at this point, as I said, I'm not really sure because I think it looks really nice without the border. So notice on this one, I'm actually flipping my fabric around because I can see there's a little bit extra on this side, just a tiny bit there that needs trimming off. And again, that little quantity may not necessarily make a huge difference to your layout, but it's, you know, just about squaring up the block. Right, so all I'm going to do now is lay this out with the balance of the quilt and then sew the whole top together. Alright guys, so this beautiful stacked layer cake is completed. This quilt measures 54 inches squared and it is simply gorgeous. Just beautiful. Very easy to compile, quick to make, no troubleshooting, no matching of seams, just simply gorgeous. Tell me, what do you think? Absolutely gorgeous. Now you can make this bigger, you can make this quilt bigger by using 2 layer cakes and you'll have a beautiful quilt. Look at the colors, doesn't that stand out? It's just so gorgeous. Okay, so let me take you through what I did. As you know, it's a layer cake, just cut in half, mix the layer cakes together and there you go. The cake's been sliced, put it back together. It is just so gorgeous. I use a meandering quilt and stitch all over and it was just easy to piece, really. Really simple, beautiful. And these are the kind of quilts I fall in love with. Just really simple, beautiful quilts that just doesn't cause any stresses, easy peasy sewing. You know, you can watch the telly, relaxing, sewing, quilting. This is a piece for doing that. On the back, I just use a little blue daisy print, and I do a beautiful yellow binding there so that it really contrasts with the others. Same fabric, hopefully you noticed that. Yeah, look at that, and just literally doodle, meandering all over for the quilting. But a gorgeous quilt, guys. I think a really beautiful, large, queen size quilt will go nice with this. Definitely. I love the fabrics. They come together really nicely. The contrast is good. Very, very good. So what do you think? Do you think you can make something like this? Quite easy. It's very beginner friendly. It's quick. It's bright. It's beautiful. It's summery. What else do you need in a beautiful little quilt? Just simply gorgeous. Alright guys, so I think that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. There is a pattern for you to download, and it's an easy one, definitely easy one. You can get this done in a day, literally in a day. It's a really short quilt to do. It doesn't take long at all. I just love this quilt. I know I said about all of my quilts, well I should, because I spend time making them, but this is beautiful, it really is. Just simply gorgeous. So slicing up this cake, one slice of cake, stack it, stitch it, quilt it, and you're done. Simple as that. Just simply gorgeous. So once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely give me a thumbs up for this one. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye, guys. Love you lots. And as I usually say, happy quilting to everybody. See you in the next one.